Greetings and salutations. Welcome to another episode of 365 Days of Gaming. I appreciate you taking out time to check out this video. Do what the little thing says right down there. I really appreciate that, so thank you in advance. But let's get into it. So, we're back with another X-Men game. Yes, because there's going to be more of them, and I really like them. So you get to enjoy some more X-Men conversation today. But this X-Men game is a little different than some of the other ones that we've talked about. It's not a fighting game, right? It's not even a co-op game. But to me, this was the closest experience that I had to playing the cartoon. So we're talking about X-Men Mutant Apocalypse today. Now, by the time this game came out, we were pretty much done with SNES X-Men games. Like everything else from this point was like Children of the Atom, X-Men versus Street Fighter, even the Mutant Academy games, which we will get to. And I remember playing this in like 96 and being like, the only thing that stops this game from being the greatest like comic book X-Men type of game is the fact that it is only single player. But other than that, I mean, this was like, still is one of the just complete X-Men experiences. One, all of the moves have a kind of fighting game input, which is for me one of the best things about a beat 'em up. It's got to have, move lists. It can't just be punches and kicks. It's got to have a way for me to do some cool stuff. And in this game, every X-Men has their own move set. So there are different moves they can do, and the inputs are always like what I call Street Fighter commands, right? You got your quarter circle forward, you got your Shoryuken, the Z motion. You also have like a forward motion move. Then they usually have some move when you jump in the air and press down and attack. And every stage was like kind of Mega Man style in the beginning, because each person had their own mission, so they had their own level that they had to go through. And then once you get past the Genosha area, you get into where you pick a character per stage, meaning you can kind of tackle them different ways. Because, for example, somebody like Wolverine can climb, so there may be things that he can get to that other people can't. But also that means that you don't have any range attacks like you would with Cyclops or Gambit. And the fact that they put Beast as one of the playable characters was really cool, because Beast doesn't often get a lot of love when I feel like he should. Him and Gambit. You got Psylocke, Cyclops, the whole shebang. And then the game starts off, you're basically doing missions on Genosha. You end up fighting Apocalypse, who was unnecessarily hard in comparison to pretty much every other character beforehand. And then once you start going through the missions, you'll have to do things like there's some danger room fights where you fight Omega Red and Juggernaut. You get eventually to Asteroid M, or some version of it, right? Because you're going to fight Magneto, and he's always going to be in some sort of space station. And good luck, because the one thing that this game does that I always didn't like was the amount of platforming they decided to add. And this is not the best game for that, but they put it in there. And it's not impossible. It's just a little irritating, the time, the jumps and the dashes and things like that. I will say your best bet is to pick Psylocke, because he jumps crazy high. But yeah, I mean, this game, man, this is like one of my favorite X-Men games, one of my favorite beat 'em ups, besides the fact that it's very difficult. But once you kind of get your bearings and everything, it was a really, really great time. And I was very surprised at the number of people who have never heard of this particular version of X-Men. Like, a lot of people have heard of the original one for the Genesis, or even Clone Wars, which were both great games in their own right, especially Clone Wars. And then people have heard of like the Mutant Academy fighting games, Children of the Atom, obviously, and all of the other crossover games. But not a lot is talked about Mutant Apocalypse. And I always just kind of found that weird. Now, I never really seen this advertised anywhere. When I was a kid, I actually picked this up at Funko Land, which also kind of dates me a bit, but that's okay. Prior to GameStop, we had all these different kind of game and trade places, and Funko Land was one of the big ones before GameStop stepped in and crushed everybody. But this is not about GameStop. This is about X-Men. The other thing with all the different characters having their own moves is like Beast is really strong attack wise and has like this little head stomp almost like Chun-Li, and it's really cheap and really good, but also it's Beast, so like he if there's not like something for him to hang from the top of, he's kind of limited in his abilities, because that's all he really has. Like, he doesn't have any of the Street Fighter style moves. He really just has a charge move and then just a stomp, but it is really effective. And that's what's really cool, is like there's no real bad character in this game either. I always felt like some of the other X-Men games, you would have like characters you really liked and then characters who were just there. And there's only 5 playable characters, but everybody seems to have a move list or some sort of abilities and perks that allow them to be very effective in their own right. Now, if you have played this game, my question is the same for everyone. Did you beat it? And if you're like me, you had to take advantage of the password system, which is very necessary and very useful, but it allows you to pick up where you left off. Because one, just for a SNES kind of action game with no save capabilities, it is not a short game. And, it can be kind of frustrating and you might have to retry and things like that. So if you did beat it, did you beat it using the passwords, or have you ever beaten it straight through? If you did, I'd like to see some sort of proof, even though you probably can't provide it. But yeah, I'd like to hear your stories about it. Who was your favorite character? What mission did you like the best? And was it kind of a tough experience or something you were able to breeze through? Either way, love hearing from you. And I appreciate you checking out this video. Y'all take it easy. Be safe. Peace.